Hello, traders. It's Thursday, April 27th, and we're about 90 minutes into trading. Let's take a quick look at the market. This is the 5-minute price action on the SPY. I am a bit bearish in here because we have a bearish 1OP cross and we have resistance that's been defined right here. We take out the open of this long green key bar, and that would be a sign that we're going to fall, probably challenge the open, and possibly fill in some of the gap. But let's get back to our previous two picks. Take a look at what they're doing. TFC was the short that I highlighted Sunday night. That was the price action heading into it. We had this upward sloping trend line that was breached to the downside. Stock did have some follow through. A couple of days ago, the price action was particularly weak when RFC announced their earnings. Banking sector still very soft. Everyone's wondering if the banking crisis is going to be spreading. So that is an overhang for the market. The long was Amazon, and the condition there was that Amazon would be able to get through this downward sloping trend line right here and the 200-day moving average. It was not able to do either of those two things. You can see that was Sunday night, how the stock just pulled back. It announces earnings after the close today, so I would not be trading this stock overnight. We don't hold earnings plays overnight. Amazon did look pretty promising when I did the video in here. I like the fact that it was starting to break out through these resistance levels, but we had to have that confirmation. If we did, we could have had a nice rally up. So let's take a look at what's going on in the market here. We've seen the heaviest selling that we've seen actually this year. And you can see how yesterday, once this support, this trend line was cracked, we had a nice long red candle off of the high of the day. That was a warning sign. We also had this bearish 1OP cross right in here, so that was telling us that we were getting near resistance. Once we had that crackdown, you can see another key bar right in here that bearish cycle produced, and the volume, which is the key right now, the volume was relatively heavy. It's been decent all week. Part of that is because we have so many earnings releases. So all of these different stocks have higher than normal volume. So that's a really nice condition that we have working in our favor for both directions. And on any given day, if the market is flat, we can zero in on these post earnings plays and really find some nice opportunities. So as far as the overall market, I'm first of all, on a 5-minute basis, I am bearish here. So we had a relatively wimpy rally, but the market was able to hold the gain, so that was nice. These opening gaps often fade, and with that type of selling pressure the last 2 days, this one had a chance to kind of crumble, but it didn't. So the market continued to move higher. This long green candle right here, once you break out through that prior day's high, that's going to be a resistance level. It's also going to be where shorts will have buy stops. And as soon as they're triggered, bye, 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 you get this nice big lift off. There will also be some traders who are looking to get long on the breakout. They may also use buy stops. But when you get these big long candles through a technical resistance level, you need to see progress. First of all, you want half of that candle to be preserved. Well, we did that. But then we tested the high of that candle and we couldn't get through. A couple of wicks up here, and then, now we're starting to see some selling in here. Well, what happens is that anybody who bought this breakout is now vulnerable to getting flushed out. And so as they bail, it increases the selling pressure. Shorts who got stopped out here are also looking at this going, dang, I just got ticked out of a good trade. I still want to be short. So they start re-entering their shorts. That's what really gets the momentum going. So for this particular trade, we've got an early move on a bearish 1OP cross, and I like to see these right away. I like to see these crosses produce right away, and this one is. So I think we're going to see follow through. How we attack the low of the day is going to determine if we start taking gains there or if we can expect a gap reversal. Again, we've seen heavy selling pressure. We'll go into the daily chart and take a look at what that's telling us. And you can see there was a long key bar. This was actually trading from Tuesday, and that was a bearish trend day. So we'll take a look at that 5-minute chart to see if we can pick up on some clues there. You'll notice that this is a lower high double top. Market is really struggling to get through this resistance level. Now we have the FOMC meeting coming up next Wednesday, so that's huge. Apple earnings will be on Thursday. We have the jobs report next week, ADP, ISM manufacturing, ISM services. Today we had GDP came in at 1.1%. That was lower than the 2.3% that was expected. So we are seeing some deceleration in the economy right now. Beige book that came out last week, they showed that the transportation sector shipping across all regions in the US was down. Well, that's a barometer for economic activity. If we're not shipping, that means that there aren't a lot of goods being purchased. So there are definitely warning signs, and we'll see next week, given the issues in the banking sector, if the Fed softens their tone at all. Mind you, in March, they really didn't. They stayed steadfast, and that was after the SIVB bank fail. So we'll see if they've softened their tone. Now we have another bad actor, an RFC. And the way that these credit issues start is that little by little, you start hearing about this bank, the other bank. The next thing you know it, there are lots of little issues that are taking place. We also have the debt ceiling. That's weighing on the market a little bit. I'll tell you that as far as politicians are concerned, they play chicken with the country's debt ceiling and they wait till the last minute, they drag their feet, and it's just politics. They'll get a deal done, but if they drag their feet too long, the market is going to send them a warning sign, and that is going to come in the form of a big market drop. And they will realize that they better get their act together. So that also is a possible speed bump right now. I'm watching this price action in here. It's telling me that there are definitely sellers and they are not going to go away quietly. All of these sellers yesterday on that type of volume, they're going to flex their muscles at some point, and those are two nice long red candles. Here's what we wanted to see from the bullish standpoint and what we wanted to see from the bearish standpoint. So from the bullish standpoint, you want this long green candle here. Half of it retraced, tick, 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 higher right away. That means that this move is legitimate and that there is follow through. What the bears want to see, now this is okay, but what they really want to see is long green candle, maybe a doji, and then a long red engulfing candle that takes out that entire candle. That would be a smackdown. That'd be a sign of heavy selling. Sometimes you'll see long green candle, long red candle that erases it. Yeah, that's very bearish. So we didn't get that. So there is still kind of a stubborn bid out there. But now that we start to crack some of those buyers and discourage them, we should be able to see some follow through in here. So let's see what happens. I love this bearish cross in here. Let's take a look at some bearish stocks first, see if we can find some. And we're going to be just going through some of our normal lists, and I'll leave you with a long and a short. So I'm going to go into the breakdown times two. These are our automated trend lines, and they give you a very good idea of where support and resistance is. And then I've also got the major moving averages. Caterpillar, I like this breakdown right here. You've got two low plus lines that have been breached to the downside. We're resting right on that low minus, right in there. Earnings before the open today, this stock has been weak. What has it done when the market gaps higher and continues to push higher? Did Caterpillar participate in this market rally? No, it did not. No, it did not. That tells me that even though the market's going up, smacka, 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 sellers are persistent. Sellers are there. I like this one. Caterpillar could easily be my short pick of the day. A little bit on the choppy side here, though. I'd rather see something just a touch more orderly. So let's continue to see if we've got something else that's breaking down nicely. This is a nice breakdown through that 100-day moving average. Has lots of room down to that 200-day moving average. LSCC is the symbol. Take a quick look at that 5-minute chart, see what that tells us. And there you can see similar. There's no rally here with the market. Market's going up, up, up. The stock has a little bit of a bounce. Can't even get through the open of that long red candle, and then now it's starting to leak oil again. Yes, this is probably going to be a good short. You can see here, we're holding all of the losses from that red candle. Market can't bounce in here. So it's trying. You can see these little wicks on top of the candle, but as soon as they try and retrace into this red candle, whack, 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 whack. Steady selling pressure. See what happens in here. So definitely would be shorting in here. I would have very, very little hesitation to short here. And I'd be looking for this open here to be challenged pretty dang easily, because as these buyers get flushed out, whoosh, right down to it. And then if you crack it, anybody that was buying at the open right here, now they're going to be in trouble. They're going to have to start bailing on their positions. So we'll see if this gains momentum, but I suspect that it will. Let's keep looking, see what else we can find. ON, I like that one. That's a choppy stock, but if we zoom out, we can see where those trend lines come into play. That is a nice trend line, breach of the 200-day moving average. Really, really nice stuff right in there. So yes, this is a decent short as well. I didn't look at NXPI. That's a pretty big breakdown. I don't like this in here, but that's a pretty solid breakdown. TER, it's another solid breakdown. Hog with a big bearish engulfing candle, but it's still right on this compression. It needs to close below all of these trend lines, and it needs to get closer to the low that it established earlier today. Earnings before the open, weak reaction. Just flipping some charts, just seeing what's out there. CALM, very nasty. Egg producer, so who knows? You want to check the news on it, but this is a non-earnings related move. Whenever we have earnings announcements, we can see, like that's an A, that was earnings after the close. Non-earnings related breakdown means there is material news in that stock. Could be bird flu, who knows? Check it out. Whatever it is material to that stock, and it is selling off hard. And take a look at that 5-minute chart, and there you can see no bounce with the market. Tick, 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 tick lower. Love that stuff. Keys, that's a banking stock. All right, I'm going to go to another search. We're going to take a look at Red Royal Flush, AVGO. Take a look at that D1. Got some breakdown in there. VLO, Valero, Refiner, very weak. Earnings before the open, has some horizontal support here. That was a beautiful breakdown right there. See how that stock got cooking after it broke that upward sloping trend line? That is some nice stuff. Tick, 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 tick. Once it takes out that 200-day moving average. See ya later. Love these trend lines. LUV, earnings before the open, still some horizontal support here. If it can crack through that today, yes, it's going to be a decent short. Qualcomm, this is a very nice trend line breach. So yeah, I like Qualcomm. Let's take a look at that 5-minute chart, see what it's doing. Gap down. Remember, the market, what's the market done? It gapped up and then it continued higher. Qualcomm is in the tech sector. Tech stocks have been relatively strong, but not this one. It actually gaps down, can't even get back to the open when you've got a big market rally. Market starting to come in. Stock easily starting to come in. Qualcomm could be a short of the day. We'll make that decision here shortly. I want to look for a couple of other stocks. FCX, that has some gold exposure, and gold has actually been pretty strong. TWLO, it's a nice drift lower there. No strength there. GM, there's your earnings announcement. It continues to falter. GM could be a good short. Let's zoom out, take a look at that one. And there we can see multiple trend lines in here. Some that may even extend beyond that point. So let's see. Oh, they all originate from that point. So yes, we're breaking through that support level right now. Cisco, nice breakdown up in there. Follow through below the 200-day moving average. Cisco is a nice short. One more bearish search. I'm just looking to see if I can improve on Caterpillar right now. ABBV, big breakdown. I hate in these videos chasing anything like this. I would short ABBV on an intraday basis. Take a look at the 5-minute chart, and there you can see there's no bounce here, no nothing. But when you get a drop like that in the SPY, I'd like to see it making a new low of the day. So it didn't. So I'd be a little cautious with it here. It might be finding some support. LEA, Lear, pretty choppy in here. They are heavily tied to the automotive industry, so probably seeing some weakness along with General Motors. OSK, that is one heck of a gap reversal. They love it. Earnings before the open. They hate it. Take a look at that 5-minute chart. That is a heck of a gap reversal. Big, long, bearish engulfing candle. Amgen, we'll take a look at a couple more here and stick with that daily chart. Right now, Caterpillar could be the short pick of the day. And I think I'm going to make it the short pick of the day because we got to keep moving along. Got to take a look at the bullish side, see if we've got anything that looks good there. So I'm going to look at a couple more searches here. Take a look at maybe AVTR. Oh, that stock has such a nice breakdown. It's not an expensive stock, but that is a nice technical breakdown there. Let's take a look at that. See that trend line right there. Once that gave way, stock has been super weak. Tick, tick, tick lower. Not a big mover, but definitely weak relative to the market. And we'll take a look at what's on the low of the day. Energy stocks have been super weak also. Patterson Energy, NOV. Let's take a look at that sector. Yeah, that's a really nice breakdown there. You can see your upward sloping trend line right there. That's NOV. It's a $16 stock. Big crackdown there. Boy, it's hard to not trade something like that. IP, International Paper. This is also post earnings. Really nice breakdown through two different support levels. That's a nice one. All right, now we're starting to cook. Okay, I got to pick out of these. IP is really nice. NOV is really nice. Let's take a look at the 5-minute action here. Tick, tick, tick lower. Really like that price action. NOV, same thing. And take a look at the D1. I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these two picks, quite honestly. I think NOV works for a great short. I think IP works for a great short. So I'll just put two shorts out there. Again, we're focusing on day trades right now. There's no reason to be swing trading ahead of the FOMC statement, especially when you've got a market that has no direction. Sideways chop. Would I short? Yeah, I would short actually. What I want from a swing shorting standpoint is I'd love to see maybe Amazon comes out with really good earnings. Tonight we get a little bit of a rally up, but I want to see a lower high in here. I've already got this lower high. If I get another failed attempt to get back to this resistance level, I'll know that the sellers are active. All the big tech names will have pretty much reported except for Apple, which comes next week. And we have the FOMC statement. I believe that that is going to spark some nervousness. By the way, the PCE, which is the inflation component of the GDP number, came out a little bit higher than expected. So tomorrow we get that release. I don't know that it's going to weigh on the market that much. So I'm looking for a lower high somewhere in that maybe 412.50 level, and then a long red candle after that, and I would have enough confirmation that there is steady resistance to start scaling into some bearish positions, any follow through, and I would be adding, and that would be on a swing basis. But until then, I'm day trading. There's no reason for me to be long or short overnight when we've got long green candle, long red candle, long green candle, long red candle, long green candle, long red candle. Who the heck can swing trade that? Unless you happen to be on an absolute stock that's breaking out on heavy volume that's on a tear. Okay, that would be the exception. So let's go find an exception right now. And I know there are a couple. We'll shift gears and go to the long side. Keep in mind, we're only looking to day trade some of these moves. We don't need to take that overnight exposure. And here's one right here. I loved this breakout yesterday, and I loved the price action yesterday. It told me that Microsoft is going higher. Great breakout here, post earnings. Look at it get through that horizontal resistance, and today it is screaming higher. They love it. So there's your price action today. Market down, down, down. What's the stock doing? Holding all of its gains. I don't think I really need to look any further for a long. Here is the tell. So you can see, first of all, 1 OSI above zero all day yesterday. In the back of your mind, you should be thinking, oh, okay, here's Microsoft post earnings. It gapped up. Oh, look, it held that low during what? A giant market drop. Stock held that gap. Let's put the SPY overlay, and then you can see that is the tell. That is the strength that we are looking for. So you've got the market in here, made a huge low for the day, took out the low from last week. What did Microsoft do? Gapped up, and it held the entire gap. So yeah, initially the stock makes the high of the day, but it drifts lower when the market is getting pummeled. That tells you bye bye bye, bye bye bye, bye bye bye, bye bye bye. As soon as the market opens a little bit higher today, whoosh, see you later. So these buyers, they don't care that the market is down today. They want to buy Microsoft for the next year or 2 years. This is long-term money coming into the stock. So who cares? SPY is down over the course of the last 2 hours. This is an opportunity for us to get in on a stock that we want to own longer term. And so that's why as soon as the market finds support, now they know if they want to put the rest of their position on, they have to buy aggressively. And the stock is still continuing to float higher. Going to be hard for me to find a better stock than Microsoft. Amazon is finally gaining traction. That was the one that we were looking at before, earnings after the close. Google, actually some pretty nice price action in here, but you can see Google did pull back with the market. Now it's leading the charge higher right now. Let's take a look at that daily chart, see what it's doing. Too much resistance in here. Let's get that SPY overlay off so that we can see the chart more clearly. Yeah, it's got to get through this horizontal resistance, so there wouldn't be any reason for me to use it as the long of the day because we want room to run. You know, I'm going to conclude this video because I'm going to be hard pressed to find anything better than Microsoft. Meta had a big breakout also. Let's take a look at that 5-minute chart. Before I even look at the 5-minute chart, what do you think I want to see? Did the stock pull back at all in the last 30 minutes? No, it's holding its gains. These buyers want in. Whap, 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 whap. On the market, they don't care. They want to be long that stock. So Meta's got a nice breakout. It's been able to hold that massive gap up. You can see it right there, getting through all of these horizontal resistance lines, all these trend lines. Let's scroll back and see where they come into play. You can see that and that produced this trend line, and the stock is bumping right up against it. This is also a horizontal resistance line that I drew in. That would be into the gap, so I want an alert if it's able to get through there. But the price action actually looks pretty decent in here on Meta. So let's go and take a look at a couple of others and see if there's anything else cooking. This is the process. This is what we do all day long. I'm going to go with Microsoft. Let's see what the market does today. That stock wants to continue to grind higher. Microsoft is not known to make gigantic moves because the stock is so thick. There's buying and selling that takes place constantly. It's a battleship, so it's hard to move this stock. But right now, on a longer term basis, any entry point, any market weakness, any little retracement in this stock is going to be a good entry point, and it should continue to grind higher. Thanks so much for watching. Please post your questions. If there's anything I've covered that you don't quite understand, let me know what that is. If you've got some content that you'd like to have me include in future videos, please leave that comment. I'll be doing a Sunday night video. We'll see you then.
Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.